I'm Rudrani and welcome to a really special episode. This is of course Zoom Speak Easy Best Male Performances 2024 panel discussion. And I think it's an honor to be in this room with such incredible talented men. We've seen some fantastic performances this year and I think the four gentlemen sitting on this table are among them for sure. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Fifth one,
Thank you, Rudrani. Yeah.
he is a
कौन है ये भी बोल दे.
Last year भी था. आप लोग करो mathematics. मैं भी था last year.
I'm going to start with Gulshan. Gulshan and Ulajh.
I don't think you need to tell him.
ऐसे start करो. नहीं वैसे हो जाएगा. मैं बहुत ज़्यादा बोल लेता हूँ.
But starting with Gulshan. Gulshan, the character you the character you portrayed in Ulajh had so many layers. Of course, he was dark. What do you mean, which one? What do you mean?
See, that's where I tried to play four different people. I mean, it seems like the same person, but if you're just saying character, then obviously, मैं जाऊँ क्या?
No, all the characters that you've tried to play have different sense of emotions. But no, on a very, very serious note, I think what you also were able to pull off is a man who has negative shades but is so charming. I think you owned that space.
Yeah, I mean, that was a requirement of the story because in the story, something happens to Janvi's character because of this person. And then it was written that he charms her, you know, and kind of swoops her into his arms and all those things. So, I think some of the credit definitely goes into, like, I think Sudhanshu had a vision for how I'm going to look, and there is a look that was designed, and then it was his idea to grow a beard. I'm always like reluctant to grow beard because मेरी अच्छी उगती नहीं है. मुझे बहुत इनकी तो बहुत ताज़ा अभी की खेती लग रही है. तो मेरी तो एक 4-5 हफ्ते उगाना पड़ता है तब जाके.
But it was so good. You were looking.
Yeah. So and then you have to dye it also because सफेदी दिख जाती है तो. But I think the idea was to, and I thought it was a great role for me. I was really genuinely interested in it because my attempt was to play this person who actually doesn't know who he is. वो आपको 4 अलग-अलग रूप उसके नजर आएंगे. So one is a charmer and the other one is like a street smart wise guy. One is a philosopher and the last one is a machine. He's just trained to like do the task and nothing else. I don't know, that was the attempt. Maybe, you know, sometimes you're not able to exactly do what you set out to do. So I think somewhere I fell a little short from my own perspective. But
really?
I'm
You
glad.
thought that?
Yeah. But I'm glad that people really enjoyed it.
Fair, but I guess which is what makes Gulshan Devaiah who he is today, right?
ऐसा कुछ नहीं.
Little bit. From one charming man to another, we all know how life changed for you this year, right? Because of Heeramandi, there was a different kind of adulation and love that you got. But when people went beyond, oh my God, he's such a cute person and I want him to sing for us and do shairi for us, there was a lot of layers your character had, which I think also gave you a lot of scope to perform the way it is from the world that you are. How do you analyze your whole graph and your relationship with your on-screen character right now?
Yeah, Sach bolun to I think it's a blessing to just be able to, at that point of time, काम नहीं था, right? So for me, it was just like a big blessing that Mr. Bhansali, the greatest man, decides to kind of like pick you out of like the whole world, right? Because I mean, literally, he has erupted, like given me like a second break in my career, and only he could have done it. So me looking at the character, it was always about being very honest to the craft of what I educated myself in. तो इतने सालों की मेहनत, इतने सालों की जो मैं क्लासेस कर रहा था, अलग-अलग कोचेस के साथ, अलग टीचर्स के साथ, यहाँ पे बाहर, whatever it was for me, end of the day, it was when I was on set, it was about using whatever I could, जो भी मैंने पढ़ा है, सीखा है, समझा है, to be able to use it to convey, or like, you know, Pratik, we were talking about over there, and he was like, the magic of transporting emotions, right? He was just telling me about it, and it makes complete sense because that's magic, right? So for me, it was like, how can I make the people watching here, or once they watch it on screen, how can they actually feel, right? How can I make them feel? You know, because this is my opportunity to finally do what I feel is my calling, right? And calling काफी सालों से थी, but I feel that, you know, when time comes, everybody here knows it, you know, so we're all in the same boat. For me, the graph was always like, I know that whatever happens, I'll be considered at least a decent actor, क्योंकि हमने मिस्टर बंसाली के साथ काम किया, right? So at least that तो guaranteed था. आगे क्या होने वाला है मुझे नहीं पता, किसी को नहीं पता. But what I wanted to get out of it, that at least people appreciate my craft. The rest of the things which came on from May 3rd, 4th onwards,
Correct.
that was a plus, right? जहाँ पर मुझे people who had my number, their mothers were calling me. I mean, my fans are like, you know, and the love that I'm getting is like, yeah, I love it. You know, from I
know what you're saying.
Very age inclusive, I must say. Before I continue this conversation, for all the ladies out there, they are very good actors. There is still very less hope. I just want to let you all.
मेरा कोई hope नहीं है. भूल जाओ. DM शेम करना बंद नहीं कर लो. लेकिन मैं accept नहीं कर सकता, समझ गए?
मैं बता देती हूँ. Let's not give them hope.
Auto market, सर.
कुछ नहीं हो.
यही दोनों है market.
Market में is like यही दोनों है.
रुद्रानी का पता नहीं.
I was trying to look at it, if an actor suddenly starts feeling protective towards the character you've played and you want to protect that.
Really curious, yeah. That's a great question, I think.
And I have thought it like that. Like someday when someone says something, I have seen actors deal defense saying, मुझे कुछ भी बोल लो यार, लेकिन ये तो इस purity से किया था मैंने तो. I thought if it was that the case. Okay, interesting perspective. Thank you. Do you want to take this? Have you ever felt protective towards the character?
Yeah, I've really felt protective about the character all the time.
है ना? I feel that too.
But actually, what he said is also right. That you know, you over a period of time, you generate that friendship together. That you can't draw that line. Who are you feeling protective about the character or about the person? So it's pretty interesting to explore that.
Okay, I'm going to come back to you. So much more to ask, but let us go.
Zig जाना पड़ेगा
From
फिर zag.
talking about playing incredible characters this time, I have on this table Pratik Gandhi, who has absolutely blown our minds by giving us the funniest performance of the year, Madgaon Express. Pratik, what you did with that character was
Mad.
to say mad is the starting of it. And then of course what you did with Do Aur Do Pyar, it was the layers of masculinity being also explored in a way, putting your egos aside, of relationships, everything. For me, these two characters were so well written and performed that, I mean, I'm truly in awe. Tell me how your approach was towards both the characters. Vastly different. But yes, I'm here to listen. They're among my favorite characters of the year.
Thank you. Firstly, I loved the way you pronounce Madgaon Express to Madgaon Express. Because it was a mad ride for me.
Yeah.
In fact, this is, I guess, the first ever comedy outing that I had. That too with physical humor for the first time for screen. Have done a lot of such comedy and such characters for stage, but for screen I was always little concerned because it's a slippery zone here. Comedy is always a slippery zone.
Yeah.
You always, your inner self always tells you to do more. Especially when you're performing during the shoot and you're the crew and people are laughing there.
Right,
you feel okay.
That's the most risky space.
The most risky
The gallery is calling.
The gallery actually calls you, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't only happen with you, but with the whole team.
True.
And when it's the story of three friends, and when you all are like, almost tuned at these particular jokes, and then one up, it can happen easily.
और डायरेक्टर भी आपका वैसे ही था.
But thankfully, I guess, but director, I guess, he has tremendous command over comedy as John.
Kunal is that true.
And he spent enough time writing the script, rewriting it again and again. So each and every line and jokes and everything was in a meter. That it will land only with this meter. So Kunal was absolutely clear with that. And when he narrated, he almost performed a 2 hours monologue.
So it's like a comedy block, you say.
Yeah.
It's like a, oh my goodness.
It was absolutely clear.
Meticulous.
And within that, there was still a little space for us to improvise here and there a little bit.
But सब कुछ planned था that well.
Yeah. So he was absolutely clear, frame by frame in his mind when he narrated the script.
Achha.
So that gives you a lot of confidence that, okay, now this is the time, I guess, if I like this with the gut feel, let's do it.
Correct.
With this team and this director and all. So that worked very well for me. In fact, it was, I guess, the first ever comedy and audience loved it. So now there is a little confidence, okay.
But that's what I'm saying, na? There's the other point of view when they have new people, new actors in it, they say that, no, you spend some time together. That's a different way of doing it.
It helps, it's fine. Like he wants
Just
to do
know,
that.
just to understand.
Yeah.
He wants to
It's-
do that.
that's his
That's
method,
fine.
correct.
Yeah, that's totally okay.
That's what I'm saying, to each his own, and both works, right?
Yeah.
As long as...
I'm just saying that sometimes you won't get it. So how do you then?
So
You
true.
have to make it work still.
What
Yeah, I've actually faced some people who are like, they say, some people who are so cold, they like look through you,
Yeah.
and then you have to go and you have to perform with them.
Yeah, and how do you then put yourself in that place too?
For me, then I don't. I work in such a way that I don't. If me and him have something off, right? Then I'll be looking at him, but I have superimposed him with somebody else.
Imagination.
Yeah, I am imagining he's somebody else when you're.
I love this, Taha, really. It works, na?
Yeah, and then I imagine that imagination giving me expression. अगर ये देगा भी ना मैं expression ढूंढ रहा हूँ उसके ऊपर. Like yeah, and then I feed off
I like
that.
Pratik Gandhi is being a real to him. Kareena Kapoor. Kareena Kapoor. मैं करीना के साथ
But whatever floats your boat, it's worked for you, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, wherever it works. Like he said, we have to figure a way to make it work.
do you have a technique? This is so fascinating for me.
See, one has to understand this very clearly, that in our field, in this field of art, you're
Sure.
constantly dealing with egos.
Yeah.
Constantly. Writer, actor, director, producer, everybody. Because you are dealing with humans constantly. It is not something that I'm in front of the computer and I'm coding, where my genius will only work. It
Yeah.
doesn't work this way. So how are you with intrapersonal relationship is the basic thing that every actor knows, or every actor will have to know.
Sure.
It comes with experience. Like whatever he's doing, I mean, everybody has their own different things.
Sure.
This will become faster as you experience a lot of things, and constantly with experience. So there are a lot of people who just don't give you an eye contact. They look here.
Yeah.
They look here.
Yeah.
And guys, okay, either you have an issue with your eyes or what is it, but they constantly look here and then say lines.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people are like that. And I've experienced this on stage.
Oh,
Theatre. Yeah. They're constantly here and then you still have to emote. Either it's a father-son argument or something happening, you constantly have to emote. So I guess every actor, when you read the script, when you take the narration, you have the whole picture in your mind. So those imagination will help you there.
yes.
Your experience will help you there. That how you want audience to understand this emotion.
Correct.
So the whole thing of this particular scene is to communicate this particular emotion. Now this way or that way, just communicate.
Karna to hai.
Just translate it.
Translate.
So that's where everything has to come and work.
Yeah. Figure it out.
Yeah, you just have to figure it out. Yeah.
Same go.
But that's what I've learned in corporate life.
Corporate तो मतलब वो
Corporate teaches you this brilliantly, that without touching the other person's ego, communicate to him or her
well
and
said.
make your thing work. That's how the whole corporate world works, is as far as I know.
Yeah. Very well put.
It's a type of education.
Yeah, it's an education. And it comes only through experience. Nothing can teach you this.
And you know, मेरे गुरु थे हैं, पर वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया में है. So he used to teach us, because he used to go and teach corporate body language and how to communicate. वो same चीज़ वो आके हमें acting में सिखाते थे. You know, it was part of our acting curriculum. It was how corporate life would, and that's, I think, you know, you learn from these kind of experiences, you know, and put it together, because the course was called Institute of Advanced Acting and Behavioral Sciences.
Yeah, behavioral science is a big thing. Yeah.
Very big thing. So yeah, it's very important.
Along with the whole internet, I absolutely support the fact and believe in the fact that your character is an absolute green flag. It's almost synonymous to you now, you know, because they look at you like that. I see how they write to you. I think the innocence and the rawness with which you did it, I think, is also a part of it.
Huge part of it.
Huge part of it. And I see that. I see the way they respond to you. In fact, if I'm not wrong, you know, during Laapata, when we spoke, even after that, you did numerous promotions. You said something very interesting. You said, even now, I want to look for more characters like this. Because while you might want to do urban, rural, whatever, you might want to be more city boy characters, but I would want my characters to be more like these green flag men. Very interesting. You said that somewhere.
Okay.
And I find that fascinated because you will not always get that, but the fact that you want to look for more of these, I want to talk about that.
I think we need such characters more for the existing generation of men to understand better how should they treat the women or the society out there.
Ji.
It should not be termed as the word green flag, I feel. It should be the normal thing to be at, be like.
तो है नहीं, but
I think वो gentleman में state कर देना या green flag में state कर देना वो एक statement है, but I really don't relate with it. But that's how a normal man should be, and I think all four of us are like that.
yeah, in this table, 110%. All.
All of us, yeah. But I definitely look for such characters because they relate more with the audience and they want to watch such characters. And you know, it helps me open that hidden side of me. Before doing Deepak, I think I was not aware of the fact that I have this side to myself because coming from a city like in Uttar Pradesh, Agra, born in Rajasthan, a very remote village in Rajasthan, I've seen men in a different way. I've grown up in a different mentality altogether. So I had that influence in my head also. But then now doing Deepak, being surrounded by Kiran Rao or the other co-actors, the female co-actors around me, you change as a man.
I mean, what do I say? This is just like, I'm sorry, I have to
something
do
is coming
this.
to my mind because of what he's saying. Can I share it with everyone?
Please.
So, reels cutega iska.
Reels cutega iska?
Haan, the movie. So, unfortunately, you know, we are, like if you look at popular media and entertainment, you take, say for example, you can't put a bunch of reasonable people in Big Boss. It's not going to be entertaining. Okay, but there are reasonable people, but they're not entertaining. They don't get your attention.
Yeah.
That's the problem. There are a lot of good, reasonable men.
Yeah.
But they're not interesting to people because you don't tell stories about them.
Yeah.
You don't interview them.
Yeah.
You don't ask their political view or anything like that. You only put the nutcases on television or on film and ask for their opinion, and they'll have extreme opinions.
Yeah.
And then we'll start to believe this is the world. And that becomes an opinion maker, and slowly it influences. Not as quickly as we may think,
No, I totally
but it
agree
does.
with that.
But there are a lot of reasonable people, and you said like four of them. Yeah, I think we are reasonable people,
100%.
but we may not be interesting because we are not nutcases.
No, you're
I still like it.
interesting.
Which is
You know
so
what I'm
true,
saying?
yeah. Negativity
Yeah.
sells faster than anything else in the world.
Yeah.
So characters become more interesting or something. Like I played Atmaram. People, it's a very popular. He's. You don't want. Like people say like, oh, what a character. Like yeah, but he's a dangerous guy. He was thinking about murdering children. Like yeah, he's not a nice guy at all. You know. But that's a fantasy world. That's fine. But when in realistic stuff, na, we start to think that no, there are not men like that. ऐसे नहीं है ऐसे हमको क्योंकि यही चीज देखते रहते हैं हम लोग कि ऐसे लोग हैं, ऐसे मर्द हैं, ये मर्दानगी है. मतलब मर्दानगी का कोई एक डेफिनेशन नहीं हो सकता है. We have 4 men. And apart from us being XY chromosome, all 4 of us have a different definition of what is Mardani.
Yeah.
And it's unique to us. And we share some traits with each other and with others. है ना? तो वही है कि let us just be reasonable to reasonable men.
I agree.
You know, because there are a lot of them. Let them not feel that we are going out of fashion.
No, but fortunately the audience want to see more men like that now.
I feel
think
like
your character in the film that with Vidya Balan, it's an amazing character. To
yeah.
see. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's so interesting.
Vulnerability in men is something that almost all men they relate with it, but it is just that I don't know how people will perceive me if I say it aloud, which you still feel. In fact, a lot of friends also they feel nahi yaar aisa. You also feel equally vulnerable at a lot of times. Just be like that. That makes you human, and you are not somebody else. This is how it is. So, and this, as he correctly said, that don't clap for something that has to be there.
like the basic.
The basic.
that's the
Don't
basic.
clap for that. Because the moment you clap for that, you are making it exclusive. कि ये रह रहा है. ये तो common होना चाहिए ना.
It's like showing up on time.
हाँ, मतलब वो तो
Thank you
common
for
नहीं
showing
होना
up.
चाहिए.
ये तो given है गुरु.
You know what? But all of us know in an idea, he is not letting it
Sir,
go.
I'm a huge fan.
अरे
I'm a huge fan.
तू तो आया एटलीस्ट
I feel like
परसों तो आया नहीं
that's true.
उसको
You
बाद
know,
में
but I
पकड़ेंगे।
feel, but I feel like it is true, and I also believe that we have to change the world by also sometimes highlighting the good men in your life.
Yeah, all men are.
All men are dogs. There's a statement.
No,
All men are
well,
dogs.
that depends.
It really,
I can be. It really depends.
That was deep.
Stop it. But you know, I will
What
talk.
type of bone are you going to show?
Hey
what
Bhagwan.
bone are you talking about, bro?
Anyway, sorry.
लापता में अगर आप देखो ये किरदार ऐसा नहीं है कि वो एकदम वोक आदमी है, उसको तो पता ही नहीं है, पर वो उसके साथ कुछ होता है इसकी वजह से वो भी सीख सीख के बड़ा हो रहा है ना, which is basically like all of us.
Right.
तो मुझे बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग लगा ये चीज, because I feel like you must be also, you very nicely put that parallel कि आप भी कहीं से आए हो, you know, आपने नहीं देखा ऐसे लोग आपके इर्द गिर्द. We don't always grow around the same kind of men or women, right? But then through your character also to kind of realize that you also are having your own journey in understanding this, whatever you're feeling, whether it's for your partner or for the men in the house, standing up to them. And then of course the most beautifully written romantic scene is you just looking at her and saying I love you. I don't remember the last time I'm like, oh my god, like that's just
I tried doing that scene also and it didn't come out very good, but yeah.
Sorry?
he tried doing
Yeah, it was a
it.
great
He tried
scene.
copying you.
Yeah, I tried doing it because I
Can I
thought
be
it
a
was a,
fool? Can you do it right away? That will be a fan moment.
Oh, he really loves you.
just
He
do
told me Gulshan coming twice.
I love you,
fan.
I love you.
क्या बोल रहा है वो
अरे
तुमको?
नहीं
So mean.
वो इतने अच्छे से नहीं हुआ, वो बहुत वो उसके he had an entire, the preparation was there ना behind it. It was an incredible scene.
Thank you,
really, like one of the best scenes.
Very well performed. Very well performed.
And both of you did a great job.
Yeah. I was having this conversation off the camera with Pratik and I was telling him I would like to bring it up, is that हम बात कर रहे some incredible performances की यहाँ पे. Laapata, when it released, it was one of my favorite films.
Thank you.
That week. I was like कि यार I hope this gets all the love it deserves. Because ये मतलब हर किसी को देखना चाहिए था. Same with दो और दो प्यार. I thought यार this is such a lovely rom-comish romantic drama in that sense. Or it's been a while. We are hardly making all of that.
And you want to work with Vidya also.
Yeah, but you're hardly making those also,
So
right?
jealous.
What an actor.
But the thing is, it was obviously it did not perform the way you would have wanted it to perform, right? At the box office, and that doesn't take away how beautiful the films were. But it can be disappointing, right, Pratik? Because from your point of view also, you wanted to reach to an audience that also goes beyond any kind of block. कि OTT audience है, या ये audience है, या वो audience है. Tell me, how did you deal with that? And I also, of course, we know that once it comes on OTT, including Laapata, we all know what happened after that. But yeah, how do you analyze this whole situation?
Well, I don't know. It's very tricky. Very, very tricky.
It is tricky. Like for example,
It can actually, break your heart for sure. That yeah, I wanted this to reach out to a lot of people. I wanted audience to at least watch it and then decide, rather than just deciding on certain preconceived notions. But if it doesn't happen to an extent that you want, it absolutely disappoint you. But then just for a few days maybe, because you still have to move forward, work on another character, create new stories, new characters and all. So I actually take it very objectively that way. And I have always been taking it that way. Otherwise it's difficult to survive and to get up the next day with the same positive attitude and same zeal and still go out and work. And because whenever we choose any story or any character or we want to be a part of any film, there are a lot of variables. Not everything is in my control.
Yeah.
My control is just to be as true as possible to the character and the first thought of the character. That's it. Beyond that, there are so many people involved, so many minds involved, so many variables involved. So yeah, I give it to those variables, and these are not in my control. So you can't think beyond a point. But what I feel is that audience needs to be educated on a lot of fronts, and that is also a job of storytellers, as a whole community. I mean, writer, actor, director, producer, everybody.
Yeah.
Because if it is not the case that audience only wants this and they just don't want something like this. ऐसा नहीं है.
So
मैं इंडियन टीम को भी यही बोल रहा था. अभी मेरे को डाउट हो रहा है. तुझे जाएंगे cricket. अरे don't ask me questions about cricket, okay?
Last time you said something on cricket, things did
अभी
turn
तक वो 8 महीने से ट्रोल हो रहा हूँ मैं. IT सेल लगा हुआ है मेरे.
अभी भी?
अरे क्रिकेटर्स का
But you
IT
have
सेल है,
said-
you know, cricketers have IT सेल.
cricketers have
उन्होंने
IT
छू
cell?
करके छोड़ दिया है. अभी मेरा रोज
But you have told everywhere. Last time also you told me you
गति
love Virat.
4-5 गालियां रोज सुनता हूँ मैं इंस्टाग्राम पे.
But
और
you
वो सब लोग वही है कि तू कौन है उधर. यहाँ भाई ठीक बेस्ट, मैं कोई नहीं हूँ.
Okay. But we come to our last segment. We call this actors asking actors. Very simple. I've asked some of them to send us some questions, and some of them have.
इधर
And
ही
we're
लाइव
going to-
क्वेश्चन पूछ
ये
रहे
live
हैं जिन्होंने किया
Which is right, exactly. And some of them are going to live ask those questions. So we are ready. Are you guys ready?
आई एम रेडी.
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay.
We're going zigzag. How are we doing this?
This time we have some questions. So
Already okay.
yeah. So Pratik, this one's for you. The question's been asked to you. As someone who found himself suddenly being the talk of the town, despite having been around for quite some time, how did you or were you handling, how were you handling all the attention? And did it ever get to your head a little bit? Just a little bit.
I'm sure he must have asked that.
वो तो लैंग्वेज में पता चला.
हाँ, language में पता. So, I absolutely enjoyed this phase that started after Scam in my life, because you know, as an actor, I guess every actor must have been waiting for something like this to happen.
Yeah.
That I get proper platform, I get proper script, director, team, and create a character which is loved by the larger audience, and you reach out to the mainstream suddenly. So always waited for it, always dreamt for it, never knew how will I reach there, never knew whom to approach, whom to meet, how to go about it. So always grateful for this. And it never touched my, ego, because when I got this, I was 37 years. Until that point, I had seen so many things in life that all, that kept you grounded always. And I give it to theatre big time. And I had given so many times the same example, that one show today will give me standing ovation, same play, show tomorrow will just didn't work.
Wow.
So you don't know. And I am not a machine, I am a human being. So you are bound to fail, you're bound to be successful, and everything will happen.
Yeah.
So I think I want to give all the praises to the character, and all the criticism is for myself as an actor to improve, and that's it. That keeps it very simple for me. Because if I keep that weight of praises on my shoulder, it will be very difficult for me to create another character fearlessly. नहीं तो फिर वो जो आप the question that you were asking, that after one success, how do you make sure that next thing is the bigger than the earlier? You can't make sure that.
आप बिग बॉस के घर में नहीं आ सकते. बिकॉज़ इतना मैंने ये तो मतलब फेल योर ऑडिशन. दिस वाज एन ऑडिशन फॉर बिग बॉस.
पर अगर अदरवाइज सोचा होता
लिया तो यार इतनी अच्छी बातें, इतने सेंसिबल सोचते हो तो ऑडियंस एंटरटेन नहीं है, इसको नहीं ले सकते बिग बॉस.
नहीं पर एक मिनट ऐसा
मैंने अच्छा था लेकिन
पर इसका अदरवाइज सोचा होता ना तो मैं मेरे घर में नहीं जा सकता. That is more important than Big Boss.
But I feel like this.
कितना अच्छा आदमी है.
अच्छा बुरा पता नहीं, बोरिंग हो सकता है.
गांधी जी.
हाँ, नाम ही गांधी है, निकालो इसको.
How are you channelizing the attention into furthering your career?
How am I channelizing
How are
the
you
attention?
channelizing the attention that you are getting?
Yeah.
This actually I also want him to answer, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
He only has asked it.
But yeah,
Both of them.
that'll
Okay.
be guessed because he told me.
Yeah. But it's very interesting. And only this, how are you channelizing your attention into furthering your career? You also have got a certain kind of attention. He's also got a very different kind of attention. You're all that national crush attention. Actually, even Sparsh has got for Deepak for that. So how are you channelizing this to further your career, as Mr. Devaiah is asking?
Continue being the green flag.
अभी विलन कर रहा है ना तू?
अरे विलन भी green
Continuing
flag हो
being the
सकता है.
green flag?
Green
Yeah.
flag, yeah.
Real life?
फ्लैग वाला विलन है.
In real life, हाँ, green flag वाला villain हो सकता है. I know where this is coming from.
Really? This is so interesting. No, but you're saying I'll continue to be the green flag in my real life. Sure.
Yeah,
But how is this going to further your career? You feel like people will see that and also.
Oh, but he's been around for a while. Like he
Yeah.
said, he's in his late 30s.
Yeah.
So he's had some life experience
Exactly.
and all those things.
For him, it's very
young
different.
guy,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
both of them were like have the limelight on them. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to see what you make of it.
Correct.
Or
That's what I said.
and
right?
also sometimes, like in my case, I had no clue. I was scared. I didn't know what to do with it. So I'm curious as to what other people are doing.
Sure.
But I
Let's
think
hear.
just can't be clueless about that. Comes with a high responsibility as well. That whatever the attention you're getting and whatever the fame you're getting out of it, you are responsible to deliver because now you have a voice. Now people are there to listen to you. People admire you. I think in one of the screenings that we were doing for Laapata Ladies, one of the female came to me and said that you have shown a new definition of love to us, like how a man came to Taha and said that. So I think that also comes with a responsibility that the type of project you are being associated with should reflect well in the society. And yeah, that's what I think. I'm going to live up to that expectation and work better and, just deliver more and more and be grounded.
I want to hear your answer on this because you said that. So you're saying that you would not do like a very misogynistic, masochistic
No, I'm not
kind
saying
of
that.
character.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
No?
that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if I do a very misogynistic type of a character, I would request my makers, I would request my writers, directors to, have a counter to that. Because it's more than an actor, it's not, it
What do you
doesn't...
mean a counter?
I'll tell you what.
उसको सबक तो मिलनी चाहिए.
No, I tell you what. So it's not my responsibility as an actor what I'm saying or what I'm portraying on screen. I'm an actor, I will perform and I'll be honest to what I'm performing on screen.
Sure.
But I would request the writer, if it is not there in the script, suppose a particular scene where I go and slap a girl and that is reflected on screen as a, oh wow, what a great thing you have done. Then there's a problem in that. But if a writer or my director writes something in a counter to that, okay, you did this and you have a reaction to it. You have to go to jail or you have to go with
Got it.
something in life.
Consequence.
So I think that's what I will be conscious of. If it is not written in the script, I will request them at least.
कि consequence तो होना चाहिए.
Consequence होना चाहिए.
Like don't glorify
then
it.
audience, yeah, then don't glorify. Then audience will, they will not come at me and say, "Ki bro, this is wrong." People are learning wrong out of it. I have a counter to that कि सी देख भाई पिक्चर में ये भी है. Why didn't you learn out of this? कि अगर तू ऐसा करेगा तो तेरे साथ ये हो सकता है. तो इससे भी तो सीख सकता है ना.
Okay.
So yeah.
Month or 2 months at least, 3 months, May, June, July, August, I guess, until end of August, September. Everything was very shocking, and I was thinking that this was not real. What's first of all what you actually can see. जैसे आपके सामने Instagram boom हो जाता है. जैसे comments every almost 2 minutes we were getting a message for months, right? So it kind of just blew that, क्योंकि पहले तो मुझे लगता था कि Instagram मेरे लिए काम नहीं करता है. मतलब मैं जितना भी करूँ, जितना भी डालूँ, क्या करूँ, काम ही नहीं करता. But then when something genuine, actually real, this thing came out, it actually blew up and Instagram started working. So all this so-called validation from around the globe and your industry folks, your colleagues, the people that you love and know, I think initially, after getting out of the phase where I was completely doubting what was happening, and to be very honest, very grateful for that I didn't give up. After getting out of that, I started channelizing it in what I used to hustle. I've always been a hustler. I've always been going out, trying to meet people, always going. He was also saying that there's some people who are restless, some people who are always trying to move, and you're a bit more. You go and then you come back. You go and then you relax a bit. So I've always been that on the run kind of a person, right? So this kind of gave me perspective that somebody told me that what got you here, what you did to get here is not going to help you to get to the next step. That's pretty much.
You have a voice, but do you also have a wallet? एक 500 रुपए देना है.
अभी नहीं है. सब टीम में ले.
You just blow the person out of the box. Just talking, change the topic.
Voice तो है लेकिन बटवा भी है ना तेरे पास.
मैं तुझे ज्ञान दूंगा ना ज्ञान.
So in this continuation,
ज्ञान is free, bro.
in this continuation, I have a question.
Sure.
Because
Please,
that's the thing, right?
please do. This is.
But my question
Thank you for
is
your question,
what I want to
Gulshan.
know. I mean, I'm extremely curious to know that as actors, what do you all do to work on the craft consistently, even when you are not working, when you are not shooting?
मेरे जो I told you about my guru ना, तो he's given us like a list of things. Even Neeraj का भी. जिनके साथ मैंने पढ़ाई की है, तो उन्होंने भी एक लिस्ट ऑफ चीज़ें दी हैं, from your voice to eyes to listening. There's a certain bunch of exercise which takes you about like half an hour, 1 hour that you regularly do. But more than that, what I feel I do nowadays is I try to watch old movies. I try to watch it in mute. I try to watch how they're communicating. Why is this called a classic? So I'm studying the films of internationally world cinema here, and to be very honest, and see which characters I actually like, right? And I start saying, okay, I like this from this person, I like this from this person, I like this from her, I like this from this person. It doesn't have the gender doesn't matter.
Correct.
You can learn from both genders,
sure.
right? Female, male, whatever. And I think that's been my regular study now. So it's always, I try to watch at least 3 movies or 4 movies a week. मैं ज़्यादा series मतलब 2 episodes देख लेता हूँ, but there's so many things to watch. But for me, that's my education. Okay. My education is, my teacher also said कि आप ना कभी airport चले जाओ and just watch people, how they're coming, how they interact, how they, दूर से, तो आपको मतलब सुनाई नहीं दे रहा वो क्या बोल रहे हैं, but you can understand their body language.
You all both worked with Sanjay Leela Bhansali. I'm sure it was different processes for the both of you. But there's always a discussion about how much can you let yourself be consumed by the environment that you're shooting in, or do you have a different kind of approach to this sort of a situation? Because it's discussed a lot about how Mr. Bhansali
is it specific to Mr. Bhansali?
It is specific to Mr. Bhansali and also the directors who are known to be very tough masters, and they in fact say "हाँ मैं ऐसा हूँ तो."
I don't know how it was for him. I'm very curious. It wasn't very tough for me. Like he used to allow me to improvise and like interpret things and.
Same.
And I never like I'd heard. Yeah, I mean he sometimes loses his shit and like throws things around. वो सब भी है. But there are so many beautiful, sensitive and wonderful things also that you experience with him while you are doing. And I never had like, even on my bad day when I was doing 17 takes per shot, I think he got really frustrated, but then he never said anything to me. It was a good relationship. I really, it just takes forever.
Then I'm seconding on that.
Yeah.
It takes forever.
Yours was similar, right?
हम लोग तो इंडी फिल्म शूट करते थे उससे पहले वो मतलब वो जितना गाना शूट करते हैं उसमें पिक्चर खत्म हो जाती है.
Yeah, no, he definitely takes his time, and he's very particular
But
about.
that's his way, man.
That's his way, which is why every actor wants to work with him, and by the end product which comes out always redefines storytelling or the way it should be. He has a very particular way. He has a stamp, right? And I believe that over this 1.5 years of journey that I had while I was shooting with him, of course, the first few days was just to understand how he's functioning, how the set is functioning, how everybody else is going to behave, egos, like he mentioned, right? So once you understand that, I feel like the rest of the time that I was there, he's always kind of like pulled my leg, made fun of me, had a blast, enjoy. There was no, I mean, I've seen the other side of him too, right? But I understand that geniuses are eccentric, in certain ways.
I've never heard anybody swear like him, man. He's got a real talent.
He can,
Oh my God. पहली बार सुन के मेरा ये कौन सी गाली है? मैंने कभी सुना ही नहीं.
I think that
frustration में ऐसे करके कुछ से मुझे.
Sometimes you forget all of that by the end of the day. But my relationship with him, or shooting with him, in fact, out of all the stories I have heard, it's been very, very different. That's why when I mention it to people, they're like, never heard about this. But I feel like even with him, because he knows that he's a professional actor, right, who's basically given his life, for this art form. I feel somewhere I also just dream and act. I mean, dream, think, breathe, acting, right? Everything I do is always about something to do with this, and I think he resonates with people like those. And when he meets people like those, then
he's pretty much like that for his films and his stories.
Right? He's just like 24/7. He's thinking of what's the next, rhythm, what's the next beat, what's the next shot, what's the next, painting it should be. Everything is just, his mind is 24/7, just that. So sometimes it's weird because he just doesn't get distracted. He just doesn't get distracted.
And also, it's very difficult for others to match that.
Yeah, man.
And that's frustrating for him sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it.
We won't be able to.
He's a very restless person.
And also the mistake that many actors do who get into trouble.
Get into trouble.
Yeah, get into trouble in many ways. Like So there are various levels to it. So is that they spend most of their time in the vanity van or in the dressing room. Be on set, sit in a corner, observe, learn, watch. That really gives you a lot of insights to work with him. You could probably do it with another set. But you have to read him. There are many things that he won't tell. He will never tell you anything, not one adjective about like, what or something like that. Which can be scary sometimes, but enjoyable for somebody like me, like, कुछ नहीं बोल रहा है, अच्छा, कर कुछ तो.
And I think it's a nice way to end it also. Like, I think actors, directors also have their process. Like, sitting in front of me is Sparsh, who worked with Kiran, and Nitanshi and you both told me her process is so soft and beautiful, but she makes it work. For her, it works. Like, she's just the complete opposite, different processes, and she makes it work. She's like, apparently, like she makes them, has like a very, like, sits them down, are you okay, and all of that, right?
Yeah, she does all of that. I think what she does is she's very good at human management. She creates a surrounding for the actor. So when an actor is supposed, he or she is performing a scene which requires a silence on set, she makes sure that that silence is there and the whole unit supports the actor to give that take, so that the actor can actually believe that the person is there in that situation. So she's really good at it, I think, and she really pampers her actor and takes care of them. It's a joyful experience. It's like a warm hug to be with her.
So sweet. Well, lovely. But on that note, thank you so much.
Thank
I was
you.
having too much fun.
नोट से याद
I
आया
could,
500 रुपए पार्किंग में देने
बाद में देता हूँ.
but मिल जाएगा. But thank you so much. Genuinely, I think sitting with actors who are so passionate towards their craft and who continue to entertain us, I'm sure you will continue doing that for years to come. It's been an incredible honor to be moderating this. Thank you so much for doing what you guys do and for being who you are. Sending you guys lots of love.
Thank you.
And we are all cheering for you. Thank you once again. And then, before he takes it back, but thank you.
Thank you.
But I must give you all a round of applause for all of you. Thank you so much.